All right. There's Pooh. Hey,
Oh
Pooh.
no! Can you take the picture off?
Yeah. Thanks, Pooh.
So what's up, Mark?
How you guys doing?
Oh, good. We've been waiting for you.
Yeah, my headphones were totally dead. Yeah, and so we had to charge them. We need an extra minute.
That's all right. We'll forgive you since you're part of the big hair band movement back in there in the '80s. So you get a pass one time. Well, how you doing, man? Is life treating you all right?
Everybody's good. Yeah, yeah. We're having fun out playing shows, and everything's going great.
Is it still new to you? I mean, do you get excited? I mean, you've been playing in this music forever, man. And does it ever get old?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always excited. I don't know what's up with that, but I think it's something about getting immediate reaction right after the song ends. You know what I mean? To where when you're in the studio, you got to wait 4 months until you find out if it's good or not. To where when you play on stage, they let you know right away.
Throw bottles.
And it's like, yeah, they're gonna throw something at you. You suck. You're great. Whatever. But it's a lot of fun because the energy, it's so much different. It's almost like you write songs, you go in the studio. It's all like a process. It's almost like in school, going to school, and then you go to recess. Playing the show is like recess. You know what I mean?
So
it's not PA. It's not like it's not PE. You know what I mean? It's more like when you can go do whatever you want, go on the swings, whatever. But yeah, we just love playing live, and then they give you feedback later if it was good. Now they got cell phones. In the old days, we didn't have the cell phones. So, like, maybe if we didn't have a perfect night, we go, oh, let's do better tomorrow, and it just kind of flies by. Now, if you don't have a good night, it sticks with you for a while. You know what I mean? And you might get like 100,000 hits on a mistake or something,
So now I know that you were a sports player as well. Do y'all do things like record your concerts and stuff and watch them back? Probably like the way you did with your coaches when you were playing baseball and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not really. It's a different kind of competition, but I'm definitely almost like competing with myself in a way. I want to perform my very best. I want to be impressive, not entertaining. I'm really out to like hurt people, not hurt them, but
wow.
You know what I mean? Like I want jaws dropped if possible. At least that's the goal. So I always in baseball, I've always been kind of competitive, and so even though I really didn't have the skills to be a top player, like I still went out there and tried my heart out, and my dad coached me since I was 8. So, he was watching, and I wanted to do good for him too,
So now he was a musician also, wasn't he? Didn't he play trumpet?
Yeah. He was a jazz trumpet player. And my mom used to sing on the intermissions when they would do shows. they would have 15-minute intermissions. My mom would go up and sing a couple songs with the piano player. You know what I mean?
Now,
So
did you ever do a
Well,
show with your parents?
I'm sorry.
Did you ever do a show with your parents?
Never did a show with them, but my dad, when I was about 13, he used to take me to jazz shows, like at clubs. He could get me in, even though I wasn't 21, and we would watch guys. And you know, I always liked the themes. You know, I loved when they, you know, some guy was just sweating bullets playing sax. You know, I go, because I would ask him if his sax player is that good, and he goes, blow him away. Because they always told me this guy called Jerry Ricketts. And he'd been over our house a couple times, made hamburgers and stuff, you know. And he told me he's the best in the world, but he wasn't like a household name or anything. But he had a drug problem that kind of, you know, took away from his skills. Not when he played, because he probably had the perfect mixture and everything, and he could go up there and just wail. But my dad said he was like the best there is, and every time I seen a sax player, I go, he's not as good as that guy. and he would say, Mark, they're not even in the same world, you know. I go, you got to be kidding me. That always was kind of not upsetting, but I always wanted to see who they're talking about, but he was already out of the game, you know. But his buddy who played piano with him was also in Della Reese, who was a black singer, really famous. And I asked him, just in case my dad was stretching the truth a little bit. And he told me, yeah, he goes, Mark, the guy was just a chain. And I go, okay, so he's being truthful. You know.
Now, you know, when you guys got started, you know, it almost didn't happen with Jack Russell. Because, you know, listening to your story, you was talking about it, cracked me up. I mean,
Yeah.
it was serious back then, but I mean, the way you told it. So,
Yeah.
did you think at one point, hey, I got to get another? That guy's not going to happen. He's kind of behind bars.
Yeah. Well, we did. We got a singer, and I was in touch with his parents just a little bit, just asking how he's doing, and you know, because he was only 17. And, you know, he's in prison at 17. I mean, it can't be the greatest place to be, right? So I talked to his dad a couple times, and he goes, Mark, all he wants, all he thinks about every day is he wants an audition when he gets out. He goes, we know you got to get another singer, but when he gets out, you know, he wanted me to tell you that he wants an audition, because he said he'll blow away anybody you got.
I mean, that's good that he still had his voice, you know, for all that going on.
Yeah. I even tested his voice. When he finally got out, he was went into like the halfway house thing, you know, just for like a few weeks. You kind of ease your way back into the world or whatever. And I go, let's hear a couple blasts, you know, because he used to go, hey, baby, you know, and he still had it, you know, he still had that full voice scream. So, yeah, and we went and did a show, and he was real nervous, and I understood that, because I was in a rehab once, and when I first got out, just going to the store made me nervous. It was like, you know, when you're isolated, even if it's for a month, it's kind of weird when you go right out in the world at first, you know, you feel it. So I can't imagine being in prison for 18 months and coming out and going, okay, dude, we're going to go play the troubadour.
Yeah, a little bit
You know what I mean?
I'm sure. So back to how it all started. I mean, you already broke your dad's heart once not playing baseball. So, so when you started this band, was it not a little bit weird that you weren't going to play the horns or brass? I mean, why did you go play guitar?
No, because I mean, even my dad kind of knew that. My first albums were Cream, Jimi Hendrix, and the Doors. You know what I mean? So, and the kind of music I was listening to the Stones, the Standells, you know, them, you know, like Gloria, Wipeout, Pipeline, all that, you know what I mean? So it was all guitar driven. the chance of me being some jazz drummer, it was not going to happen. Because I loved the music and the melody and the rock and all that.
Now, what was it that actually was your one turning point for your band's career when you said, "Hey, we're going to make it now"?
Well, we got our first opportunity when there was finally somebody in the crowd at a club in Hollywood that could help us. And he gave us his card and said, come down to the record company the following day. So we felt like this is our shot, if things work out, we can record a record and see what happens, see if people like it. So that was the first time. That was 1982. That's actually was our goal. Even though it didn't have to happen, our goal was to play as often as possible and give ourselves a chance to have somebody in the crowd that can help. And, like an A&R person, somebody that knows the guy in the record company, or, just anybody. And it actually happened. It kind of blew our minds because that's what we were shooting for. And once we hooked up with this Englishman with an independent label, his business partners didn't like the idea of us being on the label because they had just signed Berlin. Oh, wow. And they were going in that direction. His two partners, they didn't want a rock band, but Niven, he did, and he goes, "Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll do this on my own, but can we distribute their music through Green World, which was their distribution company?" And they said, "That's fine. We just don't want anything to do with your rock stuff." So what happened was we flew over Michael Wagner from Germany, or he did, and we did a 5-song EP. And through some people he knows or whatever, we don't even know how it happened, but he got us on the biggest station in LA. And we weren't on a label. We just had a distribution deal. We were on Fred Records. I mean, it was a joke. We weren't signed by anyone. So yeah, we got that airplay, and then all of a sudden, it created enough excitement with labels to where we'd go down and speak with them for a couple of weeks.
Do you remember where you were the first time you heard yourself on the radio?
Yeah. Right in the front yard of a garage. There was a garage and then a front yard, and the guy that I'm telling you about brought a ghetto blaster down and put it on the lawn and said, "Come out here at noon." So we got done. We took a break from practicing and went out and listened. And we're thinking, because we had a show coming up, we thought he was going to play an ad.
Oh,
and that we were going to be thrilled by that. Believe me, if they said Great White's playing, and but it ended up playing our song. We're going, what? We're looking at, we're like dumbfounded, right? Because this is like KMET. This is like Tom Petty, Queen, wow. And all of a sudden us. It was like, man, what universe is this? But we thought it was a one-time only thing. Like they're just like, but they played it 6 times a day for like a month or two, and we're just going, holy God, So. This whole bit about who you know or whatever, that it kind of showed up, our stars were lining up and things were going our way.
So at that time, did your female game improve? So did you start calling the lady friends and going, "Hey, I'm on the radio now. So you have to go out with me now.
I'm a rock guy.
I'm somebody." Well,
instead of having to go to clubs and maybe, lay down your best rap and hey baby, I'm in a rock band, and they like already knew who we were, so, and they're coming to see us, which makes it a lot easier. You can save your best stuff for later.
Especially if you're doing it in that voice.
Yeah, that's your DJ voice for now, right?
No, it was enjoyable though. You know, it's a local boys done good type thing, and you know, Van Halen did it 4 years earlier, so it's kind of cool that, you know, and then they painted a mural of me on the side of this club called Gazzari's, where Van Halen used to play, and I'm sitting there right in the middle of this mural with Jim Morrison, you know, Eddie Van Halen, Motley Crue, Huey Lewis and the News. I mean, I was just going, this is so neat, you know, because I never played that club before. I played it once only. They had a special Sunday night where you play all originals, but it was a cover song club. Like people danced and whatnot. Van Halen used to play there all week long, every week, and then they'd go play originals on the weekend, you know. So,
so when did you actually start? You know, after you really started coming, and you said, "Hey, you know, I'm a rock star now." You know, when did that actually hit you?
I never really bought into the, you know, the rock star, like I'm supposed to act different. I still have the same friends, but when opportunities arisen and whatever, I would say when we toured with Twisted Sister and we went gold, it was like real exciting, you know. And what made it even more exciting is they told us what it was like when they went gold and how cool it is. And so it was kind of like sharing with the peers, you know, and we'd heard them before we even got this deal. Twisted was kind of out, and started meeting a lot of people that came out way before us, you know, Night Ranger, and you know, you kept running in White Snake and stuff. Judas Priest. Judas Priest. We used to listen to Judas Priest on the way to work when we worked in the factory. We wore helmets, safety goggles, these earphones. You know, they're blowing off dynamite. We're at the food truck, you know, and we're listening to Judas Priest, you know, and then all of a sudden we're touring with them. It was just like, you know, this was some surreal stuff, you know. So, but as far as feeling like, you know, maybe we kind of arrived or whatever, is probably when our third record came out and we got our first hit. So it took a little bit of a grind, a couple tours, and you know, same like REO Speedwagon. You know, they put out 2 albums, didn't do good, and their third one, boom. You know, it's like you figure it out after a while.
Now, when you were touring with everybody, what was one you know, the concert you did that you remember more than any other concert you've done?
Probably there was a couple. But the 2 that stand out in Europe, at least, was in Schweinfurt, Germany. There's a lot of people, like 200,000 people. Oh, wow. And we played with Kiss, Iron Maiden. I think David Lee Roth was on the bill. And that was pretty eventful. But the one that kind of blew my mind and realized how different Europe was when we played with Black Sabbath, Buddy Guy, Iggy Pop,
wow.
Bob Dylan. This is all in the same stage. Bob Dylan. Yeah, the same stage, same day. This is what I mean. I go, Europe's different because promoters would never have Bob Dylan and like Satan on the same bill. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm going, this is a different kind of place. Because people got just as much into Dylan as they did as some of the, you know, like Slayer. Slayer played also. Can you imagine? Hey, I just went and saw Slayer. Who opened? Bob Dylan. You know? I mean, it's like crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but people were rocking it down. I mean, they weren't mosh pitting or anything, but they were all into it, listening to Dylan, and then, you know, Sabbath kind of stole the show. Because we were all on stage on the side, wanted to see a couple songs by Sabbath, right? We'd never seen them live, and we just heard these 3 notes, and like 300,000 people just lost their shit. It was that boom, ding, ding. You know what I mean? They were still in their trailers, and they already won. They won the day. You know what I mean? We're going, God, how easy you have to play to just have 3 notes play out of the PA. And you're putting on your makeup and stuff, or whatever. You know what I mean? You're combing your hair.
Hey, we don't judge. It's all good.
That was in Denmark. That was in Denmark, and Buddy Guy played, right? So I've always heard he influenced Hendrix and Clapton and all of them, right? So I need to see this guy.
That's awesome.
And so I put on a baseball hat and went out in the crowd. You're really not supposed to do it. It's not pro, right? But I go, I'm not Eddie Van Halen. Nobody's going to give a shit. Nobody's going to care if I go out there. What are they going? Hey, oh my God. Nobody even knew who I was. They didn't give a shit. So I went out and watched Buddy Guy, man. That was pretty damn cool.
Did you get any autographs?
I'm sorry?
Did you get any autographs?
No, I just saw him play live on the stage. I didn't hang out with him too much, but we did an in-store autograph session in a record store that sold albums, and I went in his section. He had about 10 records in this section. So, holy crap, man! He kind of flew under the radar for me because I was listening to different things. I wasn't like researching old blues guys, but I had heard of him, but I just wasn't familiar with his music and stuff. That's why I was really kind of curious about him. That's why I went out and watched him play.
Oh, cool.
He was gangster, man. He was really good.
Now, obviously, people kind of put you into that, class, that genre, is the big hair bands of the 80s. Is that the music that you actually enjoyed listening to yourself? I mean, if you weren't playing your stuff, did you listen to those other guys' music as well, Scorpions and all of them?
Yeah. Well, as up and comers, before we even got an opportunity with anything good to happen for us, we used to listen to the Scorpions and Judas Priest.
You weren't like a Barry Manilow listener or anything?
I heard things by him, but as far as buying Barry Manilow, no. I probably would just sleep all day and not even go to school if you put on Barry Manilow in the morning. I needed Deep Purple. I needed like Highway Star to get me going. Judas Priest and the Scorpions were not commercial bands. They were pretty much under the radar as far as commercial hit, mainstream. They weren't like Tom Petty, something you hear on the radio all the time. So we just thought they were great, and we wanted to be like them. We wanted to be where they were at. So our first album, we kind of were trying to be heavy, and so really we weren't playing from the heart as much as, trying to be like something. And when my influences started to show up in front of my manager, he could see me noodling around and could tell, hey, that's not what's on the album, and he goes, you should be doing what you just now did. Oh, that's and cool. I go, really? So just do whatever I want? And he goes, yeah, do that. Be yourself, play from the heart, whatever. So when that happened, that's when we went in and recorded stuff like Rock Me and Lady Red Light and so, you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
And because that's where my influences were, more of the blues side of the rock stuff.
Now, when you was like riding high and everything, what happens when you lose your lead singer? I mean, is that so traumatic when you lose your lead singer like you guys did with Jack Russell?
Oh, yeah, it was dramatic. What happened, we just told him to go get well because he was really struggling with addiction and whatnot. So we just got somebody to fill in. And he was kind of just unable to to sustain sobriety. And so his health wouldn't improve because everything that got him in that position, he was still doing. So he went out and found other people to play with him in his condition. And so, but in the meantime, we were waiting for him to come back healthy and ready to rock and ready to fly around on the stage and do good. And in the meantime, we just had a singer filling in, and and when he couldn't return, then we just kind of continued on with that singer, and started to rub different, and we kind of went in another direction. Then got another one. It's like we never planned anything. We'd never even put out an ad for a singer or anything. It's just like one didn't quite work out, it goes away, and here comes the new guy. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but I got a lot of great memories with him, and we're really good friends, and we had some great years together. I don't think we ever got in a fight. Maybe a couple of arguments at the most. One time he slugged my little brother in the face, and I went after him, man. I went after him, and some guy grabbed my arm before I could hit him. That's the only time we've ever that I can remember where we almost got into fisticuffs or whatever. You know what I mean? But apart from that, we were just like blood brothers. We never argued. We liked all the same stuff, and so we never rubbed. Our personalities went together good, and it was more at ease, and we weren't we wouldn't make very good real estate people. We weren't good town planners. You know what I mean? We kind of just wung it. Did everything so simple. Instead of outthinking ourselves past genius or whatever. We just did what worked and just kept it simple, and when that worked, we just always did it that way.
Obviously, it worked pretty well for you, so good.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're excited for you to be coming to Hot Springs, Arkansas, first of next year, and I mean the rumor on the street is that you're gonna kind of change the format up a little bit. I mean, we're hearing that what you're going to be performing next year is kind of a gangster rap.
Is that true?
So,
yeah. Well, I've been working on my, rap, and they're giving me a shot, No, but as far as the set, people are going to get a little different look, and that's what makes it exciting for us. Is when we switch the set around and do things we haven't done in a long time. Like we're doing "Stick It" Up the first album live now, and so that's a lot of fun. We got good memories behind our early career and some of the deep cuts that never get on the radio. That's why it's hard to really evaluate what makes a hit. It's really just the song you pulled off the record that got the most attention.
Right.
And so then now they label that a hit. But what if we would have grabbed another song? Does that mean if that could have became a hit too, or is that just a non-hit because it didn't get the attention that song got? You know what I mean? I question that sometimes.
Well,
sometimes you get in an argument when you're in a band, and you're not agreeing perfect. Like, I think this song would be better than the one you like to put out.
So you punch someone.
So maybe they win the argument. That doesn't mean that this couldn't have been a hit too.
Well, that's cool. I mean, there's a lot of people excited to come see the show, so I know we'll be there. Seeing what old and new hits you got out there.
And then see if you guys wear the leather pants.
Yeah. Wait. The thing about the '80s and the hair metal or whatever, it was because it really didn't dictate to the music so much. At least not with us. Because we don't play the way we do. At least I don't. It has nothing to do with my hair or, what kind of socks I wear or whatever. I play the way I do because the people I listened to growing up who made me want to improve. It had nothing to do. Like, I can't help it. The same guy that made our clothes made clothes for like 8 other bands. You know, you know, I might get Judas Priest pants by accident. You know what I mean? You know, hey, these are mine. These are Clint Tipton's, man. What the hell?
These are
I don't even like red. But you know, so I just thought, if they're labeling our actual music, you know, that has the blues overtones and the rock and that, then I don't get it. But if they're labeling us because of what we wore and our hair, they're nailing it. You know, you know, because you can't call 60s music beads and bell bottom rock. You know what I mean? It's like, what?
Yep, fair enough.
Elton John, Janis Joplin, they're both the same, or you know, what are you saying?
That's well, we're excited about it, and we're glad that you took, you know, a few minutes just to kind of give us a historic overview of your 40-year career. It's amazing.
And just we'll be at the concert, and if you're hungry, we'll take you out for some of the best barbecue in the state.
Holy cow! Oh, sounds
you're
good,
paying
man.
for it. You and Pooh's going to have to pay for it.
Oh yeah. Well, you know me. I'm always good for the check, bro.
Man, be safe, and look forward to seeing you here in a couple of months. And stay out of trouble, and don't punch anybody in the face. And you'll be
and make sure you get the right pants.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Look forward to meeting you and everything.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye-bye.
We'll see you next year.
Tell Pooh.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Nice talking to you.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Mark Kendall, man, he's funny as hell, man.
He's a good dude, man. I mean, think about it. He's been doing this
He punched my brother in the face.
It's because I gave him $5
But anyway, they're going to be playing down at Oaklawn
with
Slaughter. And so check it out. Come out, see us out there. We'll be there. And another interview at www.arkansasshowcaseradio.com. And we'll have some more coming up here in the next couple of months. And so stay tuned. And we're out of here.
Bye-bye.